Top 10 Biggest Disappointments in Video Games. Video game fans now have instant access to information about every upcoming video game. While this is usually a good thing, it can also lead to games getting a lot of undeserved hype. These are 10 games that received extreme buzz only to become the biggest disappointment in video games. Rage. Rage got fans excited when they were promised a mashup of Fallout and Doom. They did not get what they desired. Rage turned out to be an average game that is too bland to excite fans. Final Fantasy XIII. Final Fantasy XIII was supposed to be the franchise's first great game in high definition. The lack of towns, mini-games, and freedom that fans were used to from the franchise was extremely disappointing. Resident Evil 6. The Resident Evil series thrived for almost 20 years because it perfected the survival horror genre. Resident Evil 6, however, abandoned the horror in favor of becoming a boring action shooter. Duke Nukem Forever. The sequel to Duke Nukem was in production for over 14 years before it was finally released in 2011. The excitement continued to grow throughout development, but Duke Nukem Forever turned out to be one of the worst video games ever made. Haze. Haze was supposed to be Sony's version of Halo, but fans quickly realized that this was not the case after playing the lackluster game. The planned sequels to Haze were immediately scrapped after poor sales. Too Human. Too Human was another game that was in development for over 10 years before Microsoft finally released it in 2008. Fans wanted to love the space story in Too Human, but poor graphics and gameplay killed the game. Fable 3. Fable 2 set the bar extremely high for Fable 3, and it was not able to reach the lofty expectations. The simplified controls got extremely repetitive after a few hours, which is the last thing anyone wants in an RPG. Liar. Liar was supposed to show off the beauty of high-definition graphics when the PS3 launched. Liar ultimately turned out to be a nearly unplayable game with graphics glitches and horrible controls. Ninja Gaiden 3. The Ninja Gaiden is beloved by video game fans for its complexity and difficulty. When the developers tried to make the game more accessible to a mainstream audience, the great video game franchise took a turn for the worst. Aliens Colonial Marines. When a developer like Gearbox takes on such a beloved franchise as Aliens, buzz is going to quickly build for the game. Every demo released before the game turned out to be fake, and Gearbox actually had to issue an apology to the fans for creating such a terrible game.